Hello, everybody. I'm Curtis Coons, and with me is Victor Garcia, and welcome to episode 11 of Two Old Guys Talking About Stuff Nobody Cares About. Well, we're here at Valley TV Productions. How's it going, Victor?
It's going well. I like that banner behind you.
It's nice.
It's pretty badass.
Real TV Now.
Real TV.
Is it Real TV Now or Real TV Now? Or is it Real TV Now?
Well, I have to mention that the Instagram page is now up.
Ooh.
It's Real TV. It's real.tv now at Instagram.
Real. So it's Real dot TV Now.
Yes.
But it's not Real dot TV dot now dot at Instagram?
It would be considered real, period, TV now.
And the dot is not spelled out D-O-T.
No,
just for those that don't know.
Right.
Okay. First off,
could have went that way.
We're getting into show 11, so now, starting with last show, we start having to issue like apologies for insensitive shit that we've said on prior shows. And one of the things, we were talking about Laugh-In a couple shows ago, and was it Dick Martin and Dan Rowan?
Yes.
Dick Martin and Dan Rowan.
Say goodnight, Dick.
And we were talking about them smoking on TV and everything, and we had people saying, yeah, it's kind of insensitive that you make fun of guys. Yeah, they probably died of cancer, blah, blah, blah. I don't think, and I think Dan Rowan smoked, Dick Martin didn't smoke, so and I think it said something funny like, well, if Dick Martin died, it was from secondhand smoke, probably just emphysema. But anyway, I'm sorry about that for being insensitive, and I just wanted to, point here. How did Dan Rowan die?
Cancer. According to
Okay.
Dan Rowan of Laugh-In dies of cancer.
He died of cancer, so I guess I was right. I didn't mean to, but Dick Martin wasn't a...
1960s comedy show.
Okay.
Laugh-In.
How did Dick Martin die? He died of cancer, maybe.
Respiratory complications.
Yeah, secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke. So anyway,
Television director after he and Rowan parted amicably.
secondhand smoke. So I kind of hit the nail on the head because we had talked about in an earlier episode with guys our age. We have an excuse. There wasn't 500 ads coming on every day saying cancer will kill you. But people younger than us, if there's somebody in their 30s or 40s that's smoking and they were exposed to 15 years of ads saying it's going to kill you and then they started smoking, it's kind of on you. It's kind of on you at that point. I just say, not to be insensitive, but it's true. Hey, let's talk about something funny today. We need something funny. Let's talk about comedians. Some of the neat comedians that they had back in the day when we were younger.
Yep.
Some of the ones that made it. Some of them that morphed into other things. Some people were great comedians and then went on and had successful movie careers, and you don't even remember that they were comedians. And then some of them had great acts, and they just kind of disappeared. So
My favorite growing up comedian would probably be Rodney Dangerfield. Was one of my pure favorites of all time. Anytime he was on The Tonight Show, we stayed up and watched.
he didn't get any respect.
No, never. But and then he turned that into a pretty successful movie career later in his life.
Yeah.
Starting with Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Then he did
Easy Money.
Back to School.
Back to School and Easy Money.
Yeah.
Wasn't Easy Money the one with his mother-in-law that had the department stores he inherited? Yeah.
I mean, he was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And you know who's another one? Famous comedians was Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Very famous guy.
And a lot of people don't realize he was part of a team in the movies. It was him and Dean Martin. They were
The Caddy.
Yeah.
The Caddy.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
And they did a lot of movies together. They were a comedy team. When they broke up, that was a big deal. That was a big, big deal.
But they were more famous. I mean, they were famous nationally, of course.
Uh-huh.
But they did a lot of Las Vegas stints. They did a lot of
Right.
shows in big theaters. And I'm sure they rolled through our area many times over. But, we're too young to know that.
Oh, yeah. Before them, years ago, there's Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. And I don't think that... Bing was a singer and Bob Hope was a comedian, but they did a lot of movies together and everything like that. They were very
The road movies.
On the road to
Morocco. Yeah, those were...
On the road to Westline, Missouri.
Yeah, that...
I always got to poke fun at Westline, Missouri, because you just love it. Just plain. Just one road goes through their one main road, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, how you doing today, Victor?
I'm doing good. I want to also bring up the comedians of our era that's no longer with us. Jackie Mason
Yeah.
was a really famous comedian.
It was probably he was pretty groundbreaking. Probably most successfully known for destroying the Caddyshack franchise single-handedly.
It
was god-awful.
It was a god-awful movie.
And did we ever figure out, we talked about cartoons, was it the Ant and the Aardvark cartoon? Was he the voice of the ant or was he the voice of the aardvark? And was that him or was that somebody parodying
I'm gonna look it
Jackie
up.
Mason? But, those cartoons, man. We talked about Popeye. That's another one, Robin Williams. I saw him do stand-up. Crazy. But Robin Williams, do you remember that Popeye movie he
Yes.
did? My favorite line. They're trying to find the Wimpy had kidnapped Sweet Pea. It was a deep plot. And they'd take him into the gambling, basically a whorehouse establishment. And Popeye and Olive will go to find him, and they walk in there, and Robin Williams looks at, Popeye looks at Olive and says, don't touch nothing.
According to the internet, John Biner was the voice of the aardvark,
Really?
which I had no idea. I had no idea that was him.
And so he was imitating Jackie Mason.
Jackie Mason, yes.
And that's crazy. Yeah, we'll do another show one time on those crazy Saturday morning cartoons that we all grew up. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
John
He was
Biner.
in every. I think
He was in everything.
Wasn't he in Laugh In Some?
He did impressions of Dean Martin and Jackie Mason.
Yeah,
So that was him.
that was him doing Jackie Mason.
Doing Jackie Mason voice, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
Yeah.
great. Which
I don't know what the term of that would be in Hollywood when it's a third-tier comedian doing impressions of a third-tier comedian. Where is that in the hierarchy of humor? Where is that? Robin Williams was groundbreaking, right? His albums were and also a lot of people don't understand that this guy was a comedian back when we were in high school age. Steve Martin was all comedy. Wow, there. Remember he'd get up and play the banjo. And then he had some movies that were pretty groundbreaking and weird. The Jerk.
yes, that was really one of my. In fact, sometimes I'll do that scene at home.
Where he's
I don't
walking
need you.
around, I don't need you.
I don't need any. I only need
This
lamp.
thermos, and that's all I need. And my dog. Rawr! Okay, I don't need my dog. Remember the dog's name?
Shithead.
Shithead. This thermos, and hey, Victor. I'm picking out a thermos for you. Not just any thermos will do. Yeah.
So that was actually one of his really good movies. And when you talk about Robin Williams,
Yeah.
okay,
We're talking about the same time frame, too.
to me,
We're talking about the same time frame of those both kind of rising
the
to power.
best part he ever played, Robin Williams, and he wasn't a funny person in this movie.
What?
Where he played the guy that in the 1 hour photo where he starts stalking.
It was called 1 hour.
1 hour photo.
Yeah.
Wow. What range of a character was that? And he did an episode of Law and Order. He played a creepy guy in Law and
Really?
Order. Yes, it was groundbreaking, amazing. I mean, people should actually look up that episode.
He had a lot of range. He really did. I liked The World According to Garp. It was odd.
Yeah, that was an
That
odd.
was a John Lithgow.
That was based on a book.
Yeah, John Lithgow was in that. Remember, he played the football player that had sexual reassignment surgery. Remember
Yes,
that?
yep.
And Glenn Close, who I think was about the same age as Robin Williams,
Played his mother. Yeah. It's like the George Clooney and where who played Robin to George Clooney was that? Oh no, it was who played Robin?
wasn't Matthew McConaughey.
Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, Chris
O'Donnell, who looks like about the same age, but he was playing his protege.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And then, kind of on the same subject, he played someone that had sexual reassignment surgery in 2.5 Men. So ever talk
Who's
about
that?
Lithgow? Chris O'Donnell played a guy that Charlie had dated. There was a girl and it became a man, I think. So you got and then John Lithgow and that. So everything kind of ties together. In Hollywood, everything ties together. Everybody's related, Charlie Weaver. And
Well, if when going back to Robin Williams, how he could play all these different parts. He played Popeye.
Popeye.
And what was the deal with Olive Oil? I never got that
I
attraction.
never found her attractive. I'm talking to the cartoon version. Shelley Duvall
Oh, yeah.
But the cartoon version, you never saw anybody drawn by that cartoon artist that was anybody that you'd want to go out on Saturday night with.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
She was very plain. And where'd that baby come from?
Sweet Pea.
They never addressed that. I mean, I'll get a little drunk one night and go out with Brutus or Bluto. And that's not Brutus and Bluto. So was there two of them, or did he just have two different names? Remember, he was all... And he was all...
He played my favorite was when he played Sinbad.
Oh, the sailor.
Sinbad. Yeah.
And the dad, Popeye's dad. It was just the same guy, only drawn older. I'm trying to be finished because I eat me spinach. I'm Popeye the sailor man.
The movie version of his father was
Ray Walston.
Ray Walston, yeah.
Which was
my favorite Martian.
Yeah, Ray Walston's great.
Great show.
Also from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Remember he played
Mr. Hand.
Mr. Hand.
Good old Mr. Hand.
Spicoli.
Yep. And that's another actor with some range. Sean Penn.
Oh, yeah. Well, you say range, okay. But he played that funny stoner surfer dude in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And then every other character, angry. He's angry a lot. Sean Penn's angry.
Who also made an appearance
guy.
in 2.5 Men.
Yes. And it's playing poker.
Yes.
One of the poker buddies.
One of the poker buddies, yeah.
Sean Penn just kind of angry. Remember he married Madonna?
Yeah, odd.
Yeah.
Odd pairing.
Yeah.
A very odd pairing.
Yeah.
To me.
And he had the brother. He had the brother that was big in Footloose. Chris, wasn't it Chris? Maybe, no, I don't know, Chris Penn.
It was
Chris Penn.
Sean Penn's brother.
Sean's Penn brother was big in Footloose, and then he was in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep.
And then he died in real life. Died about 15 years ago. Remember that? Had a heart attack, died.
I think he did a few more other movies, but nothing. Oh, he played in that really bad movie with Chris Kattan where he played one of the mob sons.
Yeah. Corky Romano.
Yeah. Corky, yes.
You know, I got to tell you, I have an incredible mind when it comes to remembering movies and shit, but ask me what I did yesterday. You know what I mean?
I relate to that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm teetering on the Alzheimer dementia type thing. So I'm right at the cusp of where it's fun, but getting ready to tip to be sad. That's where I'm.
I relate to that meme that says I have a better memory when it comes to 80s lyrics than what I walked in the kitchen for. So that's my proof of memory there.
So comedians,
there's so many to go through. I mean, just kind of growing up and catching the ones on Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Like,
Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld was on there a few times.
Observational comment. What's the deal with this dry cleaners?
Yeah.
He always points out obvious shit that we all know.
I just rewatched episode 1 of Seinfeld.
Yeah. Seinfeld Chronicles, by the way.
And it was just not that good.
I don't think it really took off to about the second or third season, did it?
It kind of got its footing.
Yeah. And there's a little history of Seinfeld. The co-creator, along with Jerry Seinfeld, the co-creator was, of course, Larry David. Okay? Larry David played probably 30 or 40 different characters during that thing, but was. He was always the voice in the background. He played George Steinbrenner, and he always played these comedic.
George's father's attorney.
Frank Costanza's attorney.
Yeah, with the cape. Yeah.
But he was always behind the scenes, but he was a creep. But backing up, and I always say backing up when we do these shows, we'll go back years earlier than that. There was a show called Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday Night Live made it big, so another network came out with Fridays. And Fridays had Larry David. And he had a big, kind of an afro type thing. He's Jewish, had a big afro. And it was him. There were several, but also Michael Richards, that later played Kramer.
Yes.
That was his big start was Fridays. And several of those, there was Melanie Chartoff. There were several. Who were some of the ones on there? But anyway,
I'm gonna look up the cast.
Yeah,
because this is what I
interesting. Know. But Fridays is known for it's the show where Andy Kaufman went nuts. They were shooting it live. Remember that? And Andy Kaufman went kind of nuts and threw a chair down. They were doing a skit about getting high out going. They were in a restaurant and they'd sneak off to the bathroom and do marijuana was the skit.
Yes.
And Andy Kaufman called him out on it. and yeah, and Andy Kaufman, that's another one, and he passed away. And he was known for pulling so many pranks on people. There are people today, even family members, that still believe he's alive. And he died of cancer. Yeah.
Right.
But he was so bizarre.
He would
Absolutely
just do
bizarre.
those jokes on people that he died or he was really sick.
And he had an alter ego character he created, Tony Clifton.
Oh, great character.
And he was just the most obnoxious. Just the most obnoxious character in the world. And but Kaufman was a guest host on Friday. And then also they voted him on. Remember that? They had a poll on Saturday Night Live. People call in and voted him that he could never be on Saturday Night Live again.
Based on the professional wrestling he was doing with Jerry Lawler. When
he started
Mid-South Wrestling. As an
intergender, he started to try to prove that no woman or any man could beat any woman professional wrestler. Remember that? And Jerry Lawler took offense to that.
Yes.
And of course it was all
staged
bullshit.
It was
all staged bullshit.
Yeah. But you know what?
Jerry Lawler, by the way, really one of the funniest people because you don't know his humor and it's all going on in his head. He knows it's
he's
funny
brilliant.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, he is so funny. That's where if you watch that documentary about Andy Kaufman, and not the movie, but the documentary when he started doing the wrestling thing. And he was doing, you want to wrestle me, Jerry Lawler?
You come down to wrestle.
Or Memphis style.
Memphis, Tennessee. Wrestle.
Dirt.
Yeah. And then they were on David Letterman's show.
Yes.
To apologize because Andy Kaufman had the neck brace on and everything because Lawler got him and slammed him on the ground, which again was all a setup, of course. And then I think Lawler got up and punched him. Lawler got up and punched him on David Letterman's show.
Yes.
Which was all and
it was all set up.
It was all set up. And the movie, we're really talking kind of fluid here. We go from this. But the movie that Jim Carrey starred in, playing Andy Kaufman, Man on the Moon, is what it was called.
Yes, yep.
And stepping away from that, the reason it's called Man on the Moon is there was a song called "If You Believe We Put a Man on." REM. Yeah.
REM, yep.
It was a
great band. Great band.
But Carrey got into that character but he immersed himself in that part. Jim Carrey did. And I don't know if you've read this, heard this, seen this on TV.
Yes.
Got into it so bad that he treated Jerry Lawler, who they actually had Jerry Lawler playing Jerry Lawler on the show. He kind of was having an attitude with Jerry Lawler on the set. And Jerry Lawler, he was interviewed afterwards. He goes, I just wanted to tell him that was all staged between me and Kaufman, but he was kind of taking it kind of personal. But what a deal.
Shooting back to the TV show Fridays where Andy Kaufman caused some trouble.
Who were
that only lasted 80 to 82.
I know. Very short.
Very short-lived. And to me,
it was when I was a senior in high school. It was when it was on. Senior in high school, freshman in college.
It shows that Michael Richards cast Melanie Charnoff, who did movies and stuff after that.
A few.
Larry David.
Yeah.
There's a huge cast, but it doesn't show the guy that was like the host producer. Who?
Well, there was one guy that always take a pill.
No, the guy always held his ear and talked. What was his name? You know what I'm talking about.
He's in. We talked about him the other day.
He was in Laugh-In too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he was the announcer for Laugh-In.
Yeah.
Same person.
Exactly. Remember they had that one skit, Take a Pill. Remember?
Yeah.
Take a Pill. It was a pharmacist guy.
Rich Hall.
Rich Hall was in it, yeah.
Which was also in not necessarily the news on HBO.
Yeah, that's been a while.
Yeah, they came up with the word sniglets.
Sniglets.
Where they make up words. My favorite one is Express Hole, which was the person that would try to sneak more than 15 items in the express lane at the grocery store.
Express Hole. I like it when it's your car and somebody's always adjusting the radio. They're obnoxious.
There was a couple of other ones that were ExecuGlide.
What's that?
ExecuGlide is where you use your chair to roll around the office instead of getting up and walking away. ExecuGlide. My friend Richard Dale and I used to do that when we worked in the media department at Penn Valley College. We would do the ExecuGlide and roll around the floor because there was no carpet. So
that show was groundbreaking. It had Michael Richards. Two skits I remember. Michael Richards. He was playing with those little army guys. He'd always be blowing him up.
Yeah.
And we had a guy in school, don't name his name, we had a guy in school that was always blowing shit up. He was in my class. But anyway, he was always playing, oh, and he'd go freaking, he'd set him on fire, the little army. And then the other skit was he played a little old lady. Like talking to other little old ladies as he'd meet him like on an escalator or something. Marge, did you hear about Karen? Oh, she's such a gossip. You know, that kind of.
Yeah. Then he would always end with, oh,
Richards
shut
was-
up, right?
Huh?
He'd always end up, oh, shut up.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Richards was, and then he, of course, after that and before Seinfeld, he did UHF with Weird Al Yankovic, which was probably, I don't know why there was no Oscar. I don't know why.
I don't understand why that movie didn't get more traction.
Oh.
Because it was really, and a good cast.
Oh.
Really good
Yeah.
cast. I mean, that was a great...
Fran Drescher.
Yeah,
Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher was in it. Yep. There was a lot of really famous people that were in that movie that were... a good movie.
And he just, you know, he's parodies so much stuff that if he does something that you and I might do and they'd call it racism or be kind of racist, it's not racist when he does it because everybody knows he's just being a clown. But when they were breaking into that radio station and they opened that door, the supply closet, and all those Chinese guys are there. Supplies!
Yeah.
Supplies.
I want to look up the cast of UHF because...
Well, it had
Victoria Jackson.
Victoria Jackson from Saturday Night Live, who was voted one of the worst regular cast members on Saturday Night Live, and I don't believe that. I thought she was great. You know who the all-time worst was, regular? Robert Downey Jr.
Really?
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. worst. He just hadn't found his footing yet, you know.
Yep, there was a lot of really extremely famous people. Emo Phillips was in that movie too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was kind of a weird guy, but
He's
he was in that movie. There's just a huge cast. You need to...
You found them. What was it? Marble in the oatmeal? You found the marble in the oatmeal. Remember that?
Victoria Jackson. She's one of my favorites.
Victoria Jackson.
David Preval
Yeah.
from The Sopranos.
Which character does he play in The Sopranos?
He played the... Oh, he played Richie Aprile.
Oh, yeah. He was the enforcer for the... Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. The old guy, been in 100 shows, played the main bad guy on the other...
Kevin McCarthy.
Or the other radio station, yeah. And there was also a guy named David Bowie on there, but it was not the David Bowie, the musician. It was the David Bowie that was always just a friend of Weird Al Yankovic's. But, one comedian we didn't talk about from that era, that it was so groundbreaking and it was almost sacrilegious to hear him, was old Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
Remember Sam Kinison? And he's the one that did always talk about Jesus, this and that, and you just kind of... And his background, I believe his father was a minister.
He came from a religious background.
From a religious background. And he ended up dating that Jessica Hahn. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Jessica Hahn, who, if you remember, was the PTL lady that Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, Jim Baker was sleeping with her and they paid her money.
Paid her money to go away.
PTL was their group, and they called it stood for Pay the Lady. Pay the Lady. You know.
Sam Kinison, great.
Sam Kinison, but he dated her for a while, and then he wrote a song called Wild, or redid the song Wild Thing, talking about her, or something, did a video, or I don't know. But he died in a car wreck. He got married, was kind of happy in life for the first time in a long time, ended up dying. We got somebody out there?
Nope.
Okay. But, yeah, he was groundbreaking. What's another comedian back then?
Trying to think of those guys that were around.
Dennis Miller used to be funny, and then he got too political.
Yeah.
I have a political
Maher,
background.
too.
Yeah.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher used to be funny. Yeah, and I see him being so serious on his show a lot of times, and you think, you were in Cannibal Winneman and the Avocado Jungle of Death. You need to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he was in love with Bunny, or was Bunny in love with him? That character.
I don't remember who loved it. I think he was in love with Bunny. Yeah. But didn't that have Shannon Tweed in it or something like that?
Yes.
But there are a lot of comedians that get into politics, and you just kind of... was a political person who wants to get into comedy. I want to leave politics behind. Because ain't nothing about politics funny anymore. Nothing. It's just horrible.
No, we don't even talk politics.
We don't talk about shh, Curtis. Shh.
No, we don't talk politics.
No politics. None.
But I'm looking at Bill Maher's. I'm gonna look up his.
And there was an actor that looked just like Bill Maher. He was in the movie The Body Double. Remember that? Wasser or something like that?
Yes.
But he was in a lot of movies.
Good movie, though. Good music.
Yeah.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah. That was Melody Griffith, by the way. The girl dancing, erotically dancing. We pay you to dance erotically. That's from...
I'm trying to think. Bill Maher, he had a pretty good movie career, didn't he?
Nah, I don't know, but pretty good. He had a couple. But he was in the movie Wildcats.
Right. He was
played
in Wildcats.
He played the guy that ran the casino.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm looking up Bill Maher's filmography here. He
And
had a really good. To me, I thought he had a pretty decent.
And
going into politics is never it works for Reagan. Obviously. I mean, he had a successful career in politics, and like him or not, he had a. The
thing about Bill Maher, he's so anti-religion. Anti-religion, he thinks organized religion's a bad deal and all that stuff. And to each his own, but keep it to yourself sometimes. I don't know, people.
I'm trying to see. To me, Bill Maher had a pretty decent career before he went into the. People have these callings to do different things.
Politically incorrect.
Yeah,
was his big thing, and then they fired him.
They fired him
because Disney bought out ABC, right?
Yeah. Well, he made some comments, and boom, he was gone.
But the name of the show, politically incorrect. So,
do you know? Let me tell you, right now, bottom line of who. If you look at now, the funniest things on TV are those celebrity roasts.
Yeah.
Those are the funniest.
But I watched them back in the 70s when Dean Martin was.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't say bad words. They didn't say anything.
But now they're liable to say anything.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, the one with Rob Lowe is probably the best.
I like the one with James Franco the best, but Rob Lowe second. But yeah.
The worst thing they did, they put Ann Coulter on the dais. And even
she got roasted more than Rob Lowe did.
She got roasted.
She really did.
So bad. Even Peyton Manning was even lighting into her.
Ann Coulter, if you're here, who's scaring the crows away from our crops?
And it's just those are just the funniest ones. Yeah. Justin Bieber's another one that's really good.
Yeah. I had Ron Jeremy not Ron Jeremy, sorry.
The guy from
Ron Burgundy. Ron Burgundy. Had Ron Burgundy make an appearance. So.
Yes. Yep. But I think that's the best TV right now.
Ron Jeremy, by the way, is a porn star. Why do I keep?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I'm thinking that the host or the dais, Nikki Glaser.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh my God, she is so funny.
They've lost a couple of the guys that were really funny. Patrice O'Neill was his name.
Greg Giraldo.
And Greg Girardo.
Those
guys. Greg Giraldo was vicious.
Best.
So funny. But those two guys died. I think, did Giraldo die of an overdose, maybe?
Something with pills or something,
yeah,
but it was so sad to hear that.
Patrice had diabetes issues.
But Giraldo, oh my God, I hated losing him in life. He was a prince of he was a comedian, and he was a real, honest to God, just funny guy.
And Lisa Lampanelli was hysterical, but then she lost all that weight. She only weighs about 80 pounds now, and she's just not as funny as she used to be, but she was hysterical. And of course, Jeff Ross, the roast master.
I was just looking him up.
Yeah, Jeff Ross.
He is so funny.
I don't know that he's ever done anything else but roasts. Has he ever done anything?
I think he did stand up, and he's done some TV appearances, but he did the On the Street roast. Have you seen the clips for that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they are just so funny, where he just walks along the street and starts roasting people.
How can we not talk about this? We're talking about roast. William Shatner. They did the roast of William Shatner. And William Shatner was launched into space this week.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, 90 years old.
They did one for Alec Baldwin. That was another good one.
Yeah.
The roast of Alec Baldwin.
Charlie Sheen, after Charlie had his meltdown.
Some good. I love them.
There's some they did that they aired that they don't ever air anymore. And one of them was the Joan Rivers roast. You don't ever see that one.
Because that was right
About,
just before she passed away.
what it
So
was?
they didn't air, or they did not they won't re-air it, which is sad because it's
it was funny.
it was really 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 funny.
Gilbert Gottfried got on there and just ripped her to shreds. It was hysterical. He's one of my favorites. Now, he was on Saturday Night Live, Gilbert Gottfried, and he wasn't funny. He wasn't funny. He didn't become real popular until after he left the show. There's several of those people that were on Saturday Night Live and they never took. Rob Riddle?
Rob Riggle? Yep.
Riggle. He was on Saturday Night Live, one of the worst people ever on there, and he never took footing at all. And then, he's from Kansas. He's a Kansas City type native, and he's hysterical now.
I love him. He's so funny.
He's hysterical.
He's very
and
funny
also, what is the name of that actor? He was in those Ron Burgundy Anchorman movies that played the sports guy. Whammy! David something. But he was on Saturday Night Live a couple years, and I thought he was hysterical, but he never took traction. And then since he left Saturday Night Live, absolutely hysterical. But he's one of the Kansas City people also. There's a lot of Kansas City people that have been on Saturday Night Live.
And I imagine in the years that we were hanging, when we were hanging, she is from Kansas City area. The years that we were hanging out at a place called Pogo's.
I love that place.
Pogo's, remember that? It was the
Victor.
Hold on, do
Pogo's.
that. Do it again.
Pogo's and merry-go-round.
Pogo's was my jam. Side note: my sister and I were both going to college at the same time, and there was a time that we spent every night
At Pogo's.
at Pogo's.
Now, go over the rules with me. Could you get in there if you weren't 18?
No, you had to be 18, and
But we would lie. We would lie. And
I
get
didn't
in
go there till I was 18, but I can tell you that every night there was a theme night.
Yeah.
Monday was Nicola Pitcher night.
Yeah.
paid a
And
little
what
extra.
could go wrong?
Right.
What could go wrong? A bunch of 18-year-olds drinking beer at a
Bottomlessly
nickel
for
pitcher.
for a nickel.
What could go, Victor? What could go wrong?
Tuesday night was male dancer night, but the guys couldn't get in till 9.
Yeah.
Wednesdays, I think, was just a regular night. I think those are the nights that I don't even know if there was a ladies' night. I don't remember that, but I'm sure if people remember Pogo's and the different nights that they had not events, but theme nights.
Yeah.
I want to know. Those are the only two I
go
really
ahead and
remember.
get on our Facebook or something. Put some stuff you know about Pogo's. But I'll tell you what, it was a place to pick up young girls. It had a merry-go-round. Merry-go-round was kind of in the same area.
It's
Over
a
there,
Marion.
Shawnee. One was on 75th Street, Pogo's was. The other was on Shawnee Mission Parkway. And merry-go-round had an 18 side and a 21 side, which is just a recipe for disaster. And it had a giant stage that slowly turned, and a band that played called Jackie Foster and Shelter. And all the guys from the 21 side would go over to the 18 side trying to pick up the girls.
Of course.
I first got in there, I was
Hello.
14. They drugged me in there, I was 14. They'd stamp your hand, then your friend that got his hand stamped that was over 18 would come out and put the stamp down through your hand, you'd get in free. 14 years old.
I didn't go to those places until I was 18. I just didn't.
did.
I just didn't. I mean,
And it
previous
was
to
where
that.
it's where you met girls, where you hooked up the first time.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, I went to those merry-go-round and Pogo's so often that when I finally did get married, we'd still go out to the car to have sex. I mean, because you're just so used to it from those bars.
I never really.
It's a joke.
I didn't really hang out at merry-go-round that much, but I was more of a
Yeah.
Pogo's style person.
Those bars were great.
Oh
They
yeah,
were great.
What could go wrong with 18-year-olds drinking? You're right.
Right.
What,
And
what can happen?
merry-go-round, I think what closed merry-go-round, there was a radio station, 106.5, and they gave away 106.5 minutes of free beer. And somebody left there and hit a busload of nuns or something. And everybody
was
got
something,
sued.
it was a-
Closed the radio station down.
Something like that.
Closed merry-go-round. I think the beer sponsor even got in trouble. I mean, everybody, it was just awful. But
I can remember getting the nickel pitcher of beers, and there'd be no bubbles in my beer.
yeah. What could go wrong though? Nicola Pitcher? Nicola Pitcher. And also, jagged bottle beer night. That was another night.
I was actually a contestant in the dating game at merry-go-round.
How'd you do? Did you go out the car?
Didn't pick me.
Oh,
Didn't
okay.
pick me. But I remember I was a contestant
Really?
in that one time, and that was it. And in fact, me and a friend of mine from college, Greg, he was one of the other contestants. So it was just kind of we just filled out the little card things, and boom, they just picked the first 3 people that turned him in first. Something stupid, but I remember that.
Bars were so much fun back then. They were. I don't really get out a lot anymore. If I do, it's to karaoke, or I did a stand-up comedy routine about a month and a half ago. It was kind of fun. Like to do it again. Like to start doing that shit again. But it's just not like it was when it was younger. And, in Kansas, we lived in Missouri just on the edge of the Kansas state line. In Kansas, you could drink at 18 back then. Missouri, you had to be 21.
Right. And I remember when it was getting ready to switch.
Oh, yeah.
When it was switching, I was already 21 when it was switching. And then my 21st birthday fell on a Sunday. Well, guess what happens in Missouri is on Sunday.
You couldn't sell alcohol.
You couldn't buy beer. You couldn't.
Yeah. The blue law, wasn't it? Wasn't it called the blue law?
There was only like a very few places that you could get, alcohol on Sundays, which is some of these old hole-in-the-wall bars.
Right.
So, my friend, I'm sitting there on a Sunday, on my 21st birthday, and I left my gas cap key at my parents' house.
Oh, no.
Way down south.
Oh, no.
And I had about a quarter tank of gas. So I really didn't have enough gas to go anywhere. But I had money in my pocket. So I'm sitting there at home, and I was living in the city, back at my old parents' old house, and I was bummed and depressed. And knock, knock, knock on the door. It's my friend Robert.
Oh, Kenny.
Yep.
Yeah.
And our friend Keith.
Zumwalt.
Show up, and Robert says, let's go out for your birthday on a Sunday. It's like, I was crazy happy.
Did you go over to Kansas?
No, we ended up staying in Missouri, and we went to some of these little hole-in-the-wall bars, and we went to an adult bookstore it was my first time in an adult bookstore.
Were bars open on Sunday, but liquor stores weren't?
There was a few bars that were open, but not very many.
Yeah,
I mean, you had to
used to be so stupid.
You had to find the ones that were open, and there was one in our neighborhood that we went to and hung out. But fondest memory of my 21st birthday. And then on Monday, I go to buy my first 6-pack.
Uh-huh.
I go in there and I put my 6-pack on the counter, and the lady goes, $4.25 or something.
Yeah.
It's like, aren't you going to card me? She goes, no, you look old enough.
That's funny.
Broke my heart.
That's funny.
Broke my heart. But, the way the beer sales used to go here in Missouri, Kansas, and Kansas is just now moving over to modern times.
Right.
Where they've changed their liquor sales, which is about time.
Yeah, they're odd. I remember the beer was 3.2% alcohol by weight, and then in Missouri it was by 3.2% or 5.0 alcohol by volume or something. But it came out to where it was just about the same.
Yeah.
But it was just weird ass Kansas law. I know that we would ride our bicycles over to Lewisburg, which was 10 miles when we were 14. You had to be 18 to buy. Nobody carded you, and we'd ride our bicycles over there and buy a 8-pack of those little Miller ponies and drink it, or malt duck.
Malt duck, yep.
And we'd drink it and try to stumbly ride our bicycles back to Freeman.
I remember going to Lewisburg when I was 16, 17, because I had a full mustache.
Yeah.
At the time, and I was never carded. I'd go into the
little
gas station on the corner, and they would never card me.
Yeah.
And I think one time did some lady card me, and I was 17, probably 2-3 months shy of my 18th birthday. And I showed her my ID anyway, and she looked at it and went, okay.
Yeah.
She couldn't calculate.
Didn't matter.
She couldn't calculate.
How would you like to be in Kansas? How would you like your birthday to fall on? It was 18, and then they progressively, with whatever the current date was, they set a date there, and from that point on, that's where so there were people that missed it by one day and had to wait 3 years to where they could buy alcohol.
Right.
Yeah, their birthday was one day less than what the date they began it. And that would have sucked so bad.
What kills me now is when you walk into a bar or restaurant, mainly bar, and they've got the little calendar up. It says you have to be born by this date.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's 2020.
Yeah. Which is insane.
Or I mean, just like it's so weird to see. It's like, where was I 21 years ago?
It was year 2000.
I was here.
Yeah.
I was probably here.
Yeah. Exactly. Should we? How many minutes we got on this? One?
We need to wrap here. We're at the end of our stage here.
Well, it's been episode 11 of two old guys talking about stuff nobody cares about from the Valley TV production studio. I'm Curtis Coons, and this has been Victor Garcia.
I meant to say 2020. When you look at those calendars, you say you look up and it says 2020.
Yeah,
I don't want to correct it next time.
20. Yeah.
2000.
2000.
2000.
It's year 2000. I remember when we were in high school, they were talking about the year 2000 was coming upon us. And I remember, well, I'll be 37. I'll be too old to enjoy it.
Well, remember the world's supposed to end in 2012?
Yeah, I did.
The Mayan calendar?
I don't know if it did or didn't. I don't know.
The Mayan calendar just stopped. Yeah. It's like, for some reason, it just stopped.
Just stopped.
But I can tell you what. There's a friend of mine in St. Joe. And her and I were talking one time. And she said, well, maybe because the guy just quit.
The guy making the calendar?
The guy making the calendar just said,
just quit.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Like, why don't you want to do it? Oh, I'm tired. Maybe he died. Maybe the Mayan making that calendar died.
Well, I can imagine his boss coming in and say, hey, this isn't done. I don't want to do it anymore.
I don't want to do it anymore.
I'm stopping at 12.
They're paying me 2 cents more an hour down at Denny's. Anyway, this has been episode 11. 11, 12, 11, 11?
We're going to go with that.
11, okay. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye. Oh, like us on Facebook.